what if he would have had to deal with everything Rick had to deal with when you let someone in, they're infected, and then eventually they become a walker, and they risk your life afterwards. Yeah. I mean, Father Gabriel did what he had to do to protect himself. It may have been selfish, yes, absolutely. I am not justifying what he did as a good thing, but I mean, there's always two sides to the coin in a situation like this.
But as a servant of God, you're not trying to protect yourself.
That's
you
true.
want to try and protect everybody, regardless of
That's true. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Try to jump into a volcano to save a man drowning in lava. You're both going to die. But okay,
you're a servant of God, which I think you could call yourself human if you ever become in doubt, even as a servant of God. If you're telling me you have these walking demons literally coming out, you could even like use scripture references, these things coming out of hell and just like killing everybody, and it's its own apocalypse. What are you supposed to do? You're gonna try to save everybody, or maybe at some point is it so selfish for you to try to save yourself, or be super afraid, or you're not even man up to the fact that you could actually tolerate this. Now he could. He sees the inspiration in Rick. Rick had that shot in last season in front of the glass, at the head of the church, just talking to everybody, saying that you're going to go attack that compound in season 6. So I don't know. I mean, everybody's entitled to change, but I can understand if people could hold that against them. I completely understand as well.
Yeah, but even after all this, let's say he was just afraid and he had a momentary lapse in judgment.
Right,
but then later he learns what is going on.
Exactly, yeah.
And he still refuses to do what he needs to do, and he refuses to let the others do what they need to do. And when they get to Alexandria, they finally find a safe place, and he goes and rats on them.
That's true, yeah.
You can't trust these people.
But he took it back, right? He took it back.
Yeah,
they all prayed at the end. They did. It's lame, but it did happen. I mean, like, I agree with Ashley. Ashley, she's using the facts, and, she's totally entitled to thinking of, why Father Gabriel should not be let off so easily. But, in Rick's books, he took forever to come around to Father Gabriel as well. It may not be justified for Ashley here, but, it's true. I mean, like, can we hold everything against everybody at this point? If we're all together doing good things, trying to make sure everybody survives at this point, doesn't count what happens at this point?
I don't know. I think the conversation could have gone differently if in the car when Spencer said, I think it would be best if Rick never came back to Alexandria or something happened to him out on the road. And what does Father Gabriel say?
He says he's a tremendous shit, right?
Yes. Now, what if right after that, instead of Spencer being quiet, Spencer said, didn't you let your whole congregation die?
He doesn't know that.
So maybe if he did know about that, imagine how differently that conversation would have gone.
What if Father Gabriel revealed that to him and said, you know what? If you think Rick is the way he is, what about me? I have a lot to be guilty of as well. Rick has less than me. So that would have been pretty interesting to have that revelation, but I don't know. I feel like I really feel like the writers of the show are trying to put that in the past right now. They're never going to look back on it anymore. No. Unless it reaches his demise or something. But
Father Gabriel has to die at some point.
He does. I think
he's led too many people to the
Okay,
slaughter.
So this affects you too. So you see, Ashley says this affects her. This kind of affects you too. You feel like the way he let down his congregation should affect his demise.
Well, I liked Spencer.
Oh, you liked Spencer?
I don't think. Did it? I did. I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
Right. We said the fact that if he blames Rick for the fact that he came in and all this fell apart, I get that, and his entire family's gone. We all sympathize with that. Though the way he comports himself afterwards, it's questionable. It's a little,
And that's where we disagree, because you think he went to Negan to tell him to kill Rick, and I think he went to Negan to just say, put Rick on the back burner.
He wanted, but he didn't. No. But yes, we disagree on that. However, I do agree with the fact that he didn't. I feel like he didn't ask him directly. He was implying we should do something about this leadership, however methods it is, because he did address his methods. He did say, I may not be a fan of your methods, but you do what you got to do. But if you do what you got to do and you want to put me leader, it does implicate the fact that Rick cannot be there anymore. So
yeah, but that's politics. You don't just go out and say what you
want. That may be politics, but politics does involve that in some regards. In some regards, anyway, it does involve killing. So it does. I mean, okay. I mean, but you know what I mean. Especially in this part of the world, I mean, it does involve that. So Spencer may have he was all for himself, and Negan didn't want that. He didn't want somebody to to stray away from, what he has constructed, because Spencer could have maybe, the fact that, it is a risk for the fact that, if you divide a certain group, have two separate leaders, if people already look up to Rick and you're going to suddenly say Spencer's the new leader, what the hell is Negan going to do? I'm going to make Spencer the new leader of Alexandria, and I'm going to come over here to check every time if you're following his authority. He can't have another thing to worry about when he comes back to Alexandria.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Easier to kill Spencer, but I don't think Spencer was that bad of a guy. He definitely made some bad choices.
That's true, and even last season I said he had some redeemable qualities where you had a drive to basically try to save everybody or to even just keep things in line, and he did have that potential. And if the show did go in that direction to keep him around because he may have had some good qualities, but in the end, I guess not. They didn't want him there anymore. I don't know what these decisions are all. I don't know what affects the writing cast for him to write him off, but he did as a character. I did see potential for him to stick around and maybe contribute to the greater good.
Yeah. And when he stopped everybody from stealing food from the
but then stole his own
and stole his own, I can get behind that. It's like I just stopped
nobody's
this whole
perfect.
Place from falling apart.
Right,
I'm going to take
perfect.
a reward.
Right. No, well, nobody's perfect. I believe
I feel like that's a perfectly fine thing to do.
Okay. To each their own. But
I'm
yeah,
not even joking. Like I'm serious. If I was
I know.
Spencer, I know.
I'm still laughing at you though, so I don't care.
I
if
would
it's a
for
joke.
sure take, and I wouldn't just take crackers either. I would have taken the good stuff.
Well, crackers and cheese and some wine. Yeah. The life luxuries.
I guess so. I guess. Megan wants to say, after this
Say it,
season,
Megan. Sorry.
he just interrupted Megan.
I know. I'm kidding.
After this season ended, I was extremely down on The Walking Dead. But I gave the whole 8 episodes a rewatch, and it was not better. In the past, I felt that binge watching the show helped its pacing, but even that couldn't help some of the season's run. The Tara episode did not get better with age, and Dwight's motives and character development are even more evidently all over the place. Here's hoping they can make the next half great, but I'm not holding my breath.
Megan, you poor soul, to have you watch this entire season again.
Well, how many times have we watched it?
Well,
We would just watch one episode 2 or 3 times.
That's true. No, we have 2 episodes on our belt that we only watched once. I don't know. I forgot which ones that we.
No, I watched them again after.
But like even just but imagine we did it for the sake of the podcast, which was within a day. But imagine just taking another 8 or 9 hours just to binge watch this entire half season,
and not because you liked it, because
Yeah.
you wanted to give it another chance.
Yeah,
and
you
it
wanted-
failed you again.
It's like returning to an old girlfriend or a boyfriend, and just let's give this relationship a chance. We had some redeemable qualities. Let's do it, and it did not work.
After 8 episodes, I've made a huge mistake.
Exactly. That's you're poor. Megan. You know what? You're a trooper. You are a trooper. We do agree so far. There's nothing to gain from this half of the season so far.
Especially with Dwight's motives. That's the thing I agree with the most. I think you can agree with that. That's why you want to switch episode 3 with episode 2 or something.
Well, okay,
like
let's
that.
not bring the
I'm
numbers to confuse everybody, but
Yeah.
I do feel that what things to do for Sync for me. What happens in Cell should take place after Sync for me.
Yeah.
Or even after service, because we see Dwight still being a dick, sort of, in episode 4. Though even at least if Cell took place after episode 4, we still could have, it could have been. I feel like the story could have been structured a lot better.
Yeah.
Though, okay, this brings to the other thing I want to bring up, because it involves Dwight, and I do agree because Dwight's intentions are a bit all over the place. So the thing I want to hope for next season anyway, altogether, is courtesy of Sing Me a Song. Sherry, which is Dwight's significant other, her character emerges in a positive way. Despite her submission to being Negan's wife, she still demonstrates integrity and composure based on her sympathy to Daryl and her last interaction with Dwight, which was was it in Sync for me actually, or Heart Still Beating actually? I can't remember. You remember that interaction? She has it's the second interaction they have in that stairwell.
Yeah.
And she says, what are we doing?
Sing me a song.
I think it was Sing for me. Yeah, it was Sing a Song for me. Yeah. Or it was Sing Me a Song, right.
No.
When she was like, well, why? We should probably, we should probably split up before someone thinks we're doing something. Well, we're not doing anything. She's like, that's right, we're not. Which right then and there, that demonstrates her integrity and what she intends to do with her position. And Dwight remains, being a savior. And yeah, so with her last interaction where she basically states her regret for her decisions to stay alive. And, actually, according to, which I don't know if it does give away anything that could potentially happen next season. It's only speculation based on what the actress said. Her name is Christina Evangelista. according to the article by Brandon Davis, he quotes Christina Evangelista. Sherry always plotting the next. She's always plotting the next move. She's very strong. She's very determined, but she's always let's say a step ahead in some way. So the fact that she said all this in an interview, and in a way we didn't see this in this season, we didn't see that she was very determined.
We haven't seen a lick of any of that.
Exactly, and she said that before any of that was aired. She definitely has something to do with giving Daryl the key to escape. I really believe that's an integral giveaway.
Maybe. But actors in the past have. T-Dog has gone on record saying his character motivation. I have listened to
nothing of T-Dog when he was in the show.
He's talked so much about his character and how important he was and his development and who he was at his core, and none of it was reflected in his actual character, and it never paid off. And this has happened with other characters too,
That's
where
true.
they build up their character, but they never get a chance to show it off. So maybe Sherry is given free reign. Yeah, think about yourself however you want, but we're gonna write you how we want to write you.
But I really feel like this does precedent the fact that it will be revealed that she assisted Daryl, because Dwight was nowhere in the circumstance. He was nowhere near in a position where he could help Daryl. She was the only one who can, and the fact that they show her, she's kind of like she describes even herself within the same interview, saying that she's like basically like she's like she's the one in charge of the entire hen in a way, of all the wives. She seems to be the one who's like, who leads them all, comforts them, kind of like the caretaker. So if they show that, I really feel like she has a huge role in Daryl's escape. I believe so. I believe so.
The only thing that makes me not be on board with this 100% is why is she in the basement at all, in the cellars? How does she even know where Daryl is? Like, her place isn't.
That could just be a really, really big error. That could just be a really.
It's like Dwight would know, and some of the other grunts. But like, what is like? We saw her down there once before, so we know that she's down there.
Not to trash further on the episode of The Cell.
Okay,
but like, you remember what Sherry was wearing in that episode? It was like a flower dress.
Okay,
and we see her when he brings, and in the episode for "Sing Me a Song," Negan brings in Carl, and they're all dressed in black. Do you think they all dressed like that? Do you think Sherry was, that episode in The Cell, dressed independently from the other wives? Ooh. Or, you know what I mean? I find it really unusual the way she's dressed. And then when we see her in Sing Me a Song, I'm just like, I don't understand the context of what they're wearing. If they're all wearing the same thing, did they all wear the same thing in that episode of The Cell? And
I don't know. I mean, that episode had a lot of black in it. Like, his room was very black. And maybe it was just to illustrate what belongs to him.
I don't know. But the thing is,
the viewer.
However, but back on what you said, how does she end up being where the cells are? I mean, I don't know. How much freedom does she really have? We don't even really know that for sure. Maybe she has it pretty well, but still wants to leave. I don't know. This is the weirdest thing. But either way, with my opinion here, I think Sherry will emerge next season, and it counters Dwight's character, reflecting on what we just heard from our last comment, our last feedback, is Dwight seems to be lost he's lost his way being a savior. He's forgotten why he is what he is, and Sherry turns to Daryl because he has not lost his way despite being in the position that he is. So that's why I think she assisted his escape. And as for Dwight, I feel like, we were talking about Father Gabriel, being it's unforgivable for what he did to his congregation. I really feel like Dwight's unforgivable for what he has done to Denise. He did kill one of their own with Daryl's crossbow. He's done enough damage for us to hate him, and maybe he'll have that one redeemable quality that could maybe bring down Negan. But I really don't feel like they'll ever accept him into the group. I think.
Yeah,
I think. Anyway.
I think it's very difficult. How would they?
I don't know. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. How would they? I don't think they could.
Who knows that he killed Denise?
It would pretty much be who was with him, Rosita and Daryl. Actually, they both went on that run with the pharmacy. As much as the worst part is, I think Denise. That character, like, I liked her when she was struggling to be a doctor and trying to become something that she wasn't supposed to be, and then she decided to take up that mantle anyway. I gained a lot of respect for her. And then that episode, we decided to go on that pharmacy run. She did a lot of stupid moves, then led to that, Abraham's comic book death. It was so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, the only doctor should not be putting herself at risk.
Exactly.
Stay in a bubbled room.
I don't see how Daryl just came to terms like, yeah, we should bring our only doctor to the pharmacy, even though yes, it is pharmaceutical products. They're just going to take the whole thing anyway.